Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Birth and Baby Talk. My name is Meaghan Grant, and I'm one of the owners of Toronto Family Doulas, Family Doulas of Ottawa, and Hamilton Family Doulas, and a regular host here on Birth and Baby Talk. Before we start, I just got to say that little girl on that intro video was super cute and adorable, and I can totally see both of my kids doing that during a photo shoot. So that was super sweet. I know, but and it was the end, like the blowing kisses. I'm like, oh, it's my kid. Angie, it is so nice to have you back. You were one of our very first guests a year ago. Obviously, this is not where we thought we would be a year later, but we are really excited to have you back. So for people who have started following us since the last time you were here, why don't you give us a quick intro on who you are, and then we're going to talk about spring photo shoots, assuming they're allowed to keep going forward.
I know.
So give us an intro. Let us know who you are.
Awesome. So I'm Angie. Hi, everybody. And Meaghan, thanks so much for having me back. This is so awesome. I had so much fun last time, and I'm so glad you invited me. I am a family photographer here in Niagara. So I do family photo shoots for everybody in Niagara and beyond. I love a little bit of travel when I'm allowed. And my focus is mainly on lifestyle family photos. So you know those Sears photos where everybody's standing looking very serious? That is not my jam. I love doing photos where my families look real and natural, and we're capturing like real family moments. So whether that's like your child having an absolute meltdown, that is real for you. And you know all about it. So so that's my specialty, and I love, maternity, newborns, beautiful families. Just give them all to me.
Yeah, every time I tell my husband that I want to do family pictures, and I do a lot more telling him I want to do than actually booking it, he's like, why can't we just go to Walmart? I'm like, no. I'm pretty sure he wants that bad, like, 80s laser backdrop.
Oh,
I know. I think there's a nostalgia thing there.
But, the fake books.
Oh, yes. Those were pretty spectacular, too.
Those were the days. Anybody
who wants to do a quick peek back, feel free to hop over and take a look at the old episode with Angie. It was actually super helpful, and Angie had these fabulous Lego models that were actually incredibly helpful. And she talked all about ways of capturing those milestones and those special pictures at home on your own phone or your camera, because obviously at the time everything was completely locked down and couldn't hire a photographer, but babies were still being born and first birthdays were still happening and milestones were still occurring. So feel free to hop back over and check in on that. But I am going to be optimistic because I got vaccinated last week. And so I know, right? So I'm going to choose the side of optimism for the first time in maybe a year. And I am going to assume that come sort of end of spring, we may not get those like April or early May cherry blossom type pictures, but I'm going to hope that by the end of May into June and into the summer, we will be able to get some outdoor family pictures at least. Not only for photographer friends who would like to be doing their jobs, but also because it's been a really crappy year for families. And I think that one of the best things people can do as they come out of this is sort of capture that moment of family reemerging into the world, a little bit like Butterfly. Especially those parents who a lot of the parents we work with, their babies have never met anybody other than the parents and the doula. You know, they haven't met grandparents, they haven't seen cousins, they haven't seen good family friends. So, being able to get some of those pictures again as grandparents get vaccinated and things start to get a little bit safer, I think is going to be something a lot of families want to mark and want to celebrate, is this chance to get out and sort of be a family again. So I know that every time, the few occasions I actually get organized and book the pictures, I spend like the weeks leading up to it freaking out about what everybody's going to wear. Because not my jam. Like, my kids especially, they take fashion to a whole other level today. The younger one is wearing the older one's shirt, and the older one is wearing the younger one's pants. And everybody is wearing their pants backwards. So, like,
that's great.
It's interesting with my children for sure. But Obviously there's choices. I mean, we see, and I know like in a lot of, especially the indoor lifestyle photography, I see everybody in like white and beige and taupe. And I'm like, you people haven't spent any time with a baby, because that is asking to get pooped on, or spit up on, or grape juice from your kid's juice box, or whatever else it is. And obviously color and spring and flowers and green grass and all of those things feel like they go together really well. So Angie, where do we start? Like if I'm booking a photo shoot, I've got 2 kids who do not take gender conformity seriously, and then obviously my husband and I. So where do we start? I know,
Yeah,
right?
I totally hear you. I was actually just thinking, did you see Meghan Markle's interview and that beautiful dress she was wearing? It to me looked like she was wearing a beautiful black dress that her baby had thrown up on. Because it was just like these splotches. And that feels very familiar to me. I really appreciate that she was able to work that in. But
parenting real talk for a moment, right?
parenting real life. Okay, so my favorite thing to tell my clients is mom should go first. How often are moms the afterthought, right? Like, how often do we as moms always been like, oh, I've got this super cute outfit for my kids. My husband needs to wear this because otherwise he'll complain that the tags are itchy and it is so annoying to get him out of house anyways. Like, how often do we put everybody else first? I want moms and mamas to put themselves first, because like it's hard and I want moms to look and feel amazing. So my big piece of advice, number 1, mom, you pick that outfit for you first. So pick something that's going to be comfortable and flattering. So start with you, and it's going to be something that you're not going to feel awkward in. Sometimes moms will go to the store and they will pick a brand new outfit that's maybe like out of their comfort zone, but they think it's something that they will like and that's going to look great in photos. And then they spend the whole time fixing. And you know
Because
it.
I am totally that person.
And you're like, I got this new bra and it doesn't have straps. And so I get these photos like, okay, so I appreciate that everybody wants to like wear something beautiful and flattering and do it, and pick something that is your comfort zone. Like if you don't normally wear like a long, beautiful flowing dress and these like very fashionable hats that everybody's wearing right now, don't do it. It's going to look and feel super awkward, right? And you're just going to be like, the whole time. You can tell in photos, like you can really tell.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can, I mean, pick something from your own wardrobe because that's what you're comfortable in. I love seeing moms in like dresses. I love seeing moms in like comfortable flowing outfits. But if that is not your jam, pick something that is going to sort of go with the vibe of your photos. If you want something a little bit more formal, of course, choose something a little bit more formal. But if you want something that's a little bit chill, like why not just wear jeans and your favorite shirt, elastic waisted, of course. That's going to make you feel like you can just relax and be with your family for that, 20 minutes or an hour that we're together. So mamas, you get to go first. That is numero uno.
Because how often do we talk with moms about the fact that they're always behind the camera and they're never the ones in front of it? And like, my family's just as guilty. I love my husband. He's amazing. He is an equal co-parent, but it would never occur to him to just whip out his phone and take a picture when I'm having a cute moment with the kids. I take pictures of him with the kids all the time. But everything with me in it is a selfie, right? And that is, we hear that from moms all across the spectrum, or from one of the parents. It's often one parent who is taking those pictures and is never in front. So I love the idea of that parent being the person who picks first and gets comfortable, and then you can build from there. Because really, if you're only going to have a very limited number of pictures where you're in front of the camera instead of behind it, you want to look your best, you want to feel amazing, and this year in particular, I don't know about anybody else, but that sourdough bread, homemade cookie, cake every weekend phase of the pandemic definitely maybe made some of my existing wardrobe not the most comfortable clothing in the world.
Elastic waisted all the way.
I'm very, I feel like I should be going back to maternity pants. I miss my maternity pants. Maternity pants should be for life. But it's also just like, and for newer moms who maybe haven't gotten back to a body that they feel super great in, where they're really sort of learning to love their new boobs and their new belly and their wider hips and, you know, all of the other lovely things that our children leave us with when they are born. And so I like the idea of sort of putting ourselves first in that moment and really making sure we feel great and confident, especially because so much of the family sort of interaction will be based from that person.
Yeah. And let's be honest. I would say the majority of parents and families I talk to, the husband rarely wants to be there and he will just wear whatever like mom says. And the kids will also usually hate anything that they're wearing that they haven't chosen. So like, don't worry about them as much as you're going to worry about you. You got to feel bomb. And then you just tell everybody else what to wear. So from mom, what we're going to do, all depending on what she's wearing, I'm going to recommend that we choose one or two sort of like really beautiful, wonderful colors, or just neutrals. And then everybody else have something from that color. So one of my favorites would be, say, like blue. Let's say mom is wearing blue jeans and like a neutral shirt, say a white, then we would get everybody else in sort of some of those neutrals. And maybe you have a favorite dress that you know your daughter's going to wear and it's got some like really cute little blue flowers in it. Use that to take out that shade of blue for everybody else. So, you know, your son might be wearing a blue vest. Your husband might be wearing, you know, a polo shirt and some khakis. But try to go with one main color and a couple of little accents, and that it's coordinating. Matching, awkward. Coordinating, much more natural. And I'm going to tell you about some things that you definitely want to avoid as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
so
absolutely. Tell us what to avoid, because I am, like I said, not the most
do not. Okay. So there are three big things that I'm going to tell you to avoid. Number one, neon. I know neon is so popular right now and it's really cool. And it really reminds me of my own like upbringing. Maybe that's aging me a little too much. I'm okay with it.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So neon does not show up well on camera. It's kind of awkward. It looks a little gross. I'm just going to go out there. I'm just going to say it. Neon is not the best choice. Number two thing to avoid is going to be anything that's way too trendy. So right now I know like jeans with like ripped jeans are really cool and like really high waist. Well, I'm going to just say I really like high waisted pants because they kind of hold everything in, but like super high waisted, anything that's super, super trendy is not going to transition well for you to look back at those photos and say like 5-10 years and be able to still keep them up on your wall and appreciate them. I'm going to give you a great example. Do you remember like in the 80s, those wedding puffy sleeves? Oh yes. Yep. Yep. Oh yes. Like how many of those people have those photos up on their wall and they're like, that was not my best choice, right? So I really want.
I mean, I'll be honest. I look at most of the people I know who had those dresses in the 80s and they're not still married, but so
yeah, me too.
Maybe it was the puffy sleeves. Who knows?
It was the dress. We figured it out.
This actually it makes me laugh because I will totally admit to being a millennial, 100%. And this whole like middle part, the plastic fake tattoo necklaces and the like slimmed down hammer pants. All I can think when I look at these kids, I'm like, guys, we already did that once and we learned from our mistakes. Like, why are we repeating this? You know, slimmed down hammer pants, mom jeans are not flattering on anybody, especially the really wide hips and the really narrow ankles. So I can totally see how, even though that's super trendy, sort of last year, this year, probably in the next couple of years, 10 years from now, I would look back at those pictures and be like, wow, I repeated the same mistakes I made in adolescence. So
Yeah, for real.
See how, and yes, the neon thing is totally dating us. I remember, my son had something recently. I was like, I'm pretty sure I had that exact pattern on a winter coat when I was a kid, and it came with fuchsia snow pants. And it's
Oh,
like
that's amazing.
black bomber ski jacket with the neon like ribbon, right? We all
Yeah.
had that. We all had that.
So good. It was so
So,
good.
yeah,
Don't
I wouldn't want to wear that in family pictures though.
No, so try to avoid anything. I think for me, the big thing is I really want to give my clients some classic images that they can just have forever and ever. But I mean, if a couple or if a family really loves that style and they say want to get like photos every year, and that's kind of an interesting way of documenting as well, like what's going on in that time. But if you're looking for something a little bit more timeless, and maybe something that you can like share with grandma, because grandma might be like, sweetheart. Yeah, I would say stick with classic styles, and something that you're going to, again, something you're going to feel comfortable in, and something you're going to feel comfortable at putting on your wall in like, 10 years. So that's actually something else to think about is what is the decor in your house and where do you want to put these photos? Like, don't wear bright red outfits and like that's your accent color if the rest of your house doesn't have that color scheme. So if you want to put like a giant canvas up on your wall and it's going to be something that is going to be on display in a particular room, try to coordinate with that room, maybe some neutrals. Now I have one last thing of advice for something that you should not wear, and that's images or that's clothing with lots of big logos. So big logos, again, are something that kind of like dates it and they're a little bit jarring and weird. So I would also extend that a little bit to say like, you get your husband and he's got like the Nike shirt and you're like, no. Hard pass, buddy. I love you, but no. But I would also extend that again to kids' clothes because kids will love like Paw Patrol or Mickey or Spider-Man. And if you can sway them away from that, that'll also help to detract from some of those visual distractions in the images. So what we really want to focus on is just the people. I would say like where you take photos isn't as important as you, and anything that you are wearing needs to just sort of support you rather than being the main thing. I think that's the big thing to come away with from this is that what you're wearing, I know a lot of people stress out about it. Really, it's not all that important because I don't really care about your clothing. I care about you as a photographer. You are what's important. But yes, clothing does help.
For sure. I want to jump back to the point about sort of colors and picking accent colors and stuff. And also sort of combine it with that, like, what does your house look like? And where is this picture going to live? And, all of that. Obviously, there's some colors that are easier to mix and match. Reds, kind of hard to mix and match different shades of red. But blue is a really easy color to mix and match. So like if one person's wearing navy and one person's wearing light blue and one person's got like a medium blue, it coordinates a little bit better than yellows and oranges and reds and even greens. Greens can be really good or really awkward together. And I'll totally admit that this tip comes from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. Totally going to admit to that. But it was something like when I remember watching the episode and it really struck me that like, yeah, there are some colors that are super easy to mix and match and pick out sort of accents and coordinate. And there's colors that are a lot harder to do. And obviously you've got neutrals, but if one person is in this fabulous outfit and everybody else is wearing like white, that's also going to probably look kind of awkward.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I mean, if your kid absolutely, like you said, will not conform, and that's what they, to what you said you wanted them to wear, that's okay. Sometimes if you think that your child is just going to have an absolute meltdown if they're not allowed to wear their like tiara and pink tutu.
Oh, listen, a tiara would totally be par for the course of this household.
Right? Like I love that. I would say that would actually, as a photographer, that would make me so happy if I had like somebody show up and they're wearing like a tutu and a tiara. Not gonna lie, that would probably make my day.
I mean, maybe this is just like the mom point of view. I will admit, like, I was thinking about this as I was going through everything we're going to talk about this week, you know, on our social and all of that. We've got lots of tips coming up on coordinating. I was so glad to hear you say mom pick her outfit first, because that's totally a tip coming up later on this week. But I think that parents get really wrapped up in this idea of what pictures used to be, like that really, you know, the picture that went on the wall and that you shared with grandma, everybody was kind of posed, you know, but yeah, the looking lovingly up at your spouse or whatever. But I think that pictures now, we almost use them in a different way. Like almost all of our family pictures live on a server and on Facebook and Instagram. And so they seem more candid and shareable and, as you sort of say, lifestyle versus those formal posed. And I mean, anyone who has a kid who wants to wear their tiara 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's your kid. Yeah. And you want those candid family pictures that really capture you as a family unit. Let your kid wear the tiara, because that's going to make them happy, and it's going to come across as how your family is on sort of a daily basis.
Exactly. And that's, I mean, there are photographers who specialize in like those beautiful posed photos of families and of newborns, and it is an art. I mean, I tip my hat to them. It is an amazing art. But that's not what I specialize in. And so it's another big important thing, right? Like families need to choose a photographer whose style aligns with, you know, what they want and where they are at in terms of what they want to share. But I love those real moments. And that's not to say that I just like stand back and let people go and do their thing, because most people do not do their thing in the beautiful way. I'm going to pose all of my families. I'm going to pose them, and I'm going to give them really specific direction. Like, even I want you to think about a time. I want you to think about when your baby was born. Like, how did that feel? And I can just see the way people's faces change. It softens and it comes out, and you get that beautiful photo. So yeah, I'm going to tell people what to think. Sorry, guys. But that lifestyle part of it, you're right. We are definitely using photos in this really interesting way. Like, when was the last time your profile photo got updated on Facebook? Or
like, 2 years ago when we did a company photo shoot.
Exactly. And
6
like
inches of hair ago.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's been like a year since I got a haircut.
Yeah, it's getting kind of long at this point. The pandemic hair is reaching new lengths.
It's real. It's definitely different from a year ago when I saw you. But the other thing to remember is that most kids this year did not have school photos. My kids did not have school photos. So there's this huge cohort of kids who were doing virtual schooling, who are doing at-home schooling, or whose schools weren't allowed to have anybody come in to do photos. And family photos can actually be a really nice way to sort of commemorate, this is where they were at during that year of growth and development. And I love that you said it's kind of a way of, I'm going to use that butterfly emerging from our homes. And yeah, so photographers are permitted to work in Ontario in the red, orange, yellow, and green framework right now, unless it's changed. But during gray zone, we can't work. Commercial photographers can work, but we are permitted to work. And I know the majority of my colleagues, we're all being really, really safe. We're keeping our distance, and we're really lucky that our work is something that we can do really safely. So like you said, this is the perfect season for outdoor photos. The photographer's masked. We're able to keep a really nice, safe distance. I'm not going to be giving my clients any big hugs, but yes, this is definitely the perfect time to do it and to like document what we want to sort of share to the world. I'm still alive, everyone. I haven't disappeared. I know it sort of feels like it because we haven't seen each other, but yeah, I think, so many kids and families haven't had an opportunity to, have their photo taken, or grandma hasn't seen the kids in so long. Grandma hasn't seen me in so long, right? So my face is here.
For sure. I was talking to my mother-in-law yesterday. She's like, I haven't gotten a picture in a while. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And so it's like immediately texting pictures because they haven't seen their grandkids. Now we saw them last summer because they were in a clear zone, but it's been 7 months since they saw their grandson. So definitely nice, I think, to have this idea of an update. And if there's anybody out there who is as bad about all of this as I am, my last family pictures, to put it in perspective, my youngest son was about 4 weeks old, and a week and a half ago he turned 6. So
you're in need. You are totally
I'm a
in
little
need.
out of date at this point. I probably need to get some updated, where he's like upright and walking and has a personality all his own. So
He's mobile now.
It's so easy, especially, I'll talk from the perspective of a mom who owns their own business and works and has worked through a pandemic and had kids home, virtual schooling for the pandemic. We know from all of the social studies that are coming out that moms have had a really hard year with a lot of expectations placed on us and a lot of time and commitment and energy that we, in a lot of cases, didn't have to begin with. And to me, this almost feels like kind of like the butterfly emerging, but just this opportunity to be like, I am doing something for me. Because as you said, it's often moms who are driving these photo shoots who want these, these keepsakes of their child's, their younger years. So, it's a chance for mom to get out. Fingers crossed that like hair salons are actually going to open and that kind of thing. People can go get their hair maybe done so they feel extra special, get rid of all of that extra pandemic length, or keep it, whatever, whatever floats your boat. But it feels like a nice opportunity for moms to sort of do something for both themselves and their families in a way that's safe, because we all know that there's so few activities we can do safely these days. But it just feels like a good sort of, in a way of self-care. It's, making yourself feel good, but also really capturing these moments, because we're going to look back on this year and forget some of the really good times because it was stressful and it was overwhelming and it was difficult. So it's nice to sort of come out of it and have a celebration and really just sort of feel like you get to do something for you and your family that's different and, celebrate getting through all of this and coming out the other side.
And that's actually, I am scheduling my own family photos this year because I'm using it as an opportunity to celebrate. Me and my family, we survived. We survived this relatively intact. We've all learned about each other and ourselves. And I want to say that we've come out of this almost better at the end of all of this. I think I'm trying to do silver lining, that we, for me, I'm taking this as an opportunity to celebrate that, I want to mark this year with photos of my family. Yes, even I hire a family photographer for sure, because I can't do my own. I can't, and I want to support my colleagues, and I have some amazing photographer colleagues that I can't wait to use this as an opportunity to be like, yes, we did it. We are doing it. We have really dug down deep and we've connected with one another, and look at this. My mom also wants some nice photos of her grandkids that I can't wait to give her, right? She hasn't seen them in more than a year. It's a great opportunity, but I cannot wait for my own family photos.
Indeed. And I really do need to just commit to doing it this year, because
it's so hard to just be like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Well, okay, I'm going to do that. I got to do that.
There's also total decision paralysis, right? Because I'm in Pickering, for any of our viewers who don't know. So I live sort of just east of the city. Now, I am a Torontonian at heart, so I will pretty much go anywhere in the Golden Horseshoe except probably Barrie, because I'm a Torontonian. That's the thing that we don't do. But you go online and you search for photographers, and there's hundreds. And even the ones that I would go on and I say, you primarily do weddings or branding and that kind of thing. They list themselves as family photographers. So you have to wade through every single one of them.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting. And I actually, before the whole pandemic started, I had reached out to someone, I had connected, things were going really great. And then she disappeared and she came back later and she was like, my family had an emergency. I was like, great, cool, let's schedule. And then she disappeared again. And I was like, well, now I've used up all of my energy connecting with this person. I don't want to start this search again. So it can be really hard. And I think at the end of the pandemic, it's hard too, because there are a lot of small businesses that have closed. So you can end up doing a ton of research and then contacting them to find out they're not working anymore. Is there an easy way around that? I mean, I go to Instagram now instead of Google because it's a little bit easier, but even then it's kind of tricky to find what you're looking for.
For sure. So Instagram can be a really good spot to find people. And the best part is that you can see, have they updated recently? Like, are they talking to their people? Are they engaging with their community? Are they saying, hey guys, you know, I know things are really weird right now, but I can't wait to see you. So that's a really good way to gauge, like, are they still open? What are they doing? Are they being safe with their clients, especially right now? And how are they working? Because we all might be working differently. I know that some of my colleagues who do those really posed photos, they are still able to have, for instance, newborns in their studios, but in a really careful way. So how are they working? So that's a good way of kind of figuring it out. And you can kind of just do like search hashtags. So hashtag, you know, Pickering photographer, or a location that you love, right? So if there's like, oh, I love this park and I would really like to go there, just look for photos of that park. That's a hashtag right there. The other thing too is ask your friends and family. If you see like somebody on Facebook and they have like amazing photos, like, hey, where'd you get those done? Or I'm really lucky here in Niagara, we have like a Niagara Moms Facebook group. And I can just go on and be like, hey guys, I'm looking for a photographer. Can anybody recommend one? I'm looking for X. And you'll probably get a ton of recommendations, which is really, really nice. I really love sort of community sourcing a lot of the things I need, because I know that my mom's groups, or, you know, my local groups of parents are going to be like, oh yeah, this person's really good. Avoid, you know, this plumber, for instance. So those are great resources. But I would say, yes, you're right. It is really hard because it's not like a regulated industry.
You know all about that.
Possibly. Yeah. But it's also, if you're searching on social media, does seem to be the best place to look for and find people. But I would say, you know, reach out to your friends and family. Where have they found their photographer? Or, hey guys, I'm in Niagara. Who wants to come hang out with me?
Yes, indeed. For everybody who is following, who lives in the sort of GTA Niagara region, who wants to reach out to Angie, obviously we've linked her on all of our social media this week. You can find her there on Instagram. And right now, because things are a little wonky, Angie, I know you're not currently booking mini sessions, but once things are a little bit more sorted out and you know what's happening, anybody who has signed up for our newsletter will get a notification when Angie opens up her mini sessions again. So those will be an option in the future. Right now, I think you're still booking family.
I'm still booking. Absolutely. So I'm still booking full sessions. So the reason why I haven't booked mini sessions is because I need to like book a location, and I don't want to book a location, say at the Cherry Tree Blossom farm, and then we have to cancel because we're in lockdown. So I'm trying to avoid that a little bit, but I'm definitely still booking, you know, full sessions. And if you go to the link in my bio, I've linked my blog post about what to wear to family sessions. So I've written a lot of this out. So if you need something to refer to, it's in the link in my bio at Little Leaf Photo on Instagram. So really quick there, you can just read like, oh yeah, no logos. Good call.
For sure. Well, Angie, thank you so much for joining us again. It is always a pleasure to have you on. Like I said, for all of our followers and viewers, make sure you're signed up for our newsletter, because that information when mini sessions are resuming will go out. But as Angie said, she's booking full sessions now. So all of her contact information will be there as well for anybody who is ready to book a family picture photo shoot for this summer. Before we sign off, I want to take a quick minute. Today is March 31st. It is the International Transgender Day of Visibility. So for all of our trans and non-binary followers and clients and friends and family, we love you, we see you, we celebrate you, we stand with you always, and you are always welcome at any of our agencies. We love to see you and support you on your family journey. So we we are celebrating that today. I will be on Instagram stories live later to talk about my oldest, who has given me permission to talk about this. My oldest identifies as trans and gender nonconforming. So I am going to be talking a little bit about my experience as a parent of a trans child. So feel free to check out that later on today. And as I said, to our trans community, we love you, we stand with you, and thank you everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week. I will be honest, I don't remember the schedule. I think it's sleep tips, but it's not me. I'm not super sure, but I'm pretty sure it's sleep tips next week. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you in April.